All right, hey guys, welcome to Traditional Boating Wilderness Podcast. Today we're going to talk about filming your hunts, gear for filming your hunts, okay? Like I said, we got a lot of options here that we can use, and honestly, the way I do it and the things that I think about, which I film every single hunt I'm on, is a lot different than what mainstream media does. Mainstream media seems to think of camera arms and cameras and stuff like that as a great way of doing it. Or when I say mainstream media, I mean what most people do, and I'm not taking anything away from that. And we'll cover it a little bit, but I think there's better ways out there. But when it comes to your cameras out there, you got a bunch of different options. The DSLR style cameras like this are nice. Okay, these things are fantastic. They work good. Flip out screens on them, wireless mic that you can run, the whole deal. They are nice. They are big. They are bulky. They are very heavy, and they're a little bit more complicated to mess with when you're doing it. And you got to kind of know what you're doing with them. But they are a good option, but they're a lot of money too. You know, there's not, I mean, you're looking at a $6,000 rig right here. So there's a lot of money involved in these. And then the camera arms and stuff to support these have to be pretty massive. You got to be looking at like Fourth Arrow and some quality heavy duty arms to keep these things from shaking when they're out there. So going full size cameras are not a bad thing, but they're also not the best thing, in my opinion. We're going to set that off. So if you're going to go with camera arms and run a camera like that, I think something like something similar to this. This is the Sony ZV-1. Okay, it's a very nice compact camera. Still has your flip out screen, rotationable, everything you want. It's got the whole setup on there. Mic can be plugged into it. You can plug in external battery packs. Got a nice smooth zoom right on here with the button on there where you're not messing with stuff. You can hook up vari zooms to it, but this is so much smaller and lighter in size than dealing with what something like this is. Okay, these are cameras I use for my professional work, but this is, like I said, this is a whole different ball game of camera and weight factor to it than what you're getting here. And for practical purposes, this will do pretty much the same thing. And what's nice about this particular one, the ZV-1, is it's got a full frame sensor in there too, which is nice, so that you're going to actually get very good high quality out of it, and really good low light capability. So that camera, the Sony ZV-1, is a fantastic option. Now they make other ones too with interchangeable lenses, which are always great options, but the fact that you can get this for like $600 versus something like this, which is $6,000, there's a tremendous difference here in what you can do with it. And this will get really good audio, really good video. It will do a lot of the great stuff. The zoom range on this one's about the same as the zoom range setup as I have on this one currently. So there's a lot to be said for something like this. But both of those cameras, either one of them will require a camera arm, okay? This is the one that I have. I modified it. This is a DIY bow hunter version of a camera arm. I'm not going to get too carried away on it because I'm not even going to get too... Like I said, I am not a fan of camera arms. I don't use them anymore. I don't like them. I don't like having to hook them up. I don't like having to mess with them. They're just they're not my deal. So, but it comes with this strap on it already, which is one of these little where it buckles, hooks the thing and straps, so it's quick and easy around a tree. But again, I don't even like that. They're a pain for me. So instead, I used my own, which is just a little lashing strap that I put through there, so I could just feed it through and lock it pretty quick. But something with that extension is definitely nice. The key thing to this whole thing is that the head is good and that the mounting system is good. I took my old bracket off of my B stand, and that's what I put on here. So I can fold it up flat out of the way for packing. I can put it on there like that, but that's what that is. It came with a 3D printed one. Like I said, it's a good arm. I'm not taking anything away from it. It is a good arm. I do believe there are some new ones out there that are very impressive, like the ones from Elevate Stand Company. They got a new lightweight arm out there that's really good. There's a lot of them, okay? So I'm not, I think Lone Wolf Custom Gear has an arm coming out too, but the one from Elevate that folds into itself is really impressive. But an arm is an important thing that you're going to have on there. You want to make sure it's got a level and a way to actually mount this thing so that it stays level on a tree. If it's not mounted level on a tree, you might be filming, but your arm is going to start creeping, okay? You're not going to be able to keep it the same, so that's the problem with them. So make sure it's got a level. Make sure you can get it set well. This is a good arm, but arms are a pain in the butt. I prefer short, but I want 3 sections, especially if you're a saddle hunter, so you can move it. You can tuck it in and swing it between your body and around the tree because you're facing this way. If it's got too long arms, you got to lean way out to get around it. So having smaller, shorter arms allows you to wiggle it through between you and a tree if you're a saddle guy. Okay, for us tree stand guys, we want it here. Now remember, I'm left-handed, so I put it on this side, and then I can, let me relock that in here, and set, and there we go. Okay, and hold on, there we go. Pop that, and like so. There we go. Now, spin that, hang on, I want that to lock. Like I said, I'm not a fan of, there we go, come on. The cold weather will affect these sometimes as well too. It's something you got to keep in mind. These heads are fluid heads. They are filled with fluid in there, and this one's been outside in the freezing cold, so it's a little stiff on the pan level down here right now. That will, like I said, loosen up, but that is something. I have that bolt all the way loose on here, and still, see, not there we go. Now we're getting smooth, but they will get sticky in cold weather. That's something you got to keep in mind and take into consideration. But for us as bow hunters, I'll mount that on a tree, and then that way I have my bow in this hand. I can use this and swing it around. Even if I have to shoot that way, I can swing that around the tree this way to be able to take that shot. Okay, get it out there to be able to do that. So having the sectional pieces in there like that, I think is good. But like I said, you want the length, but smaller length arms, I think, are a nice bonus. However, again, these things are notoriously a pain in the butt. They get loose in certain sections. You constantly have to maintain them. I'm just not a fan of camera arms under any circumstances, but if you are, you already know that. You know it's a necessary evil for your style and how you want to do it, and that's a fine thing. With the head on here, you're going to want fluid. You will want a smooth, fluid head. So I shortened my bar up on mine. This is a, what is this one? This is, I don't remember whose head this is. I'll have to look it up for you. I can't remember who made that, but it's a really nice, simple little fluid head that'll let me pan that nice and butter smooth. Okay, you want to have that. But again, not a fan of camera arms myself. You'll probably never see me use a camera arm ever again. Like I said, I just don't like the constant maintenance that you got to do on all the bolts. Look at, see how they get all the time. I cannot stand camera arms. I'm not a fan. So, what do we do too now is another option for that kind of stuff. Let's cover a few more gear things before we get into the ways to use them. If you want to run a lavalier mic, the Rode Mini Go's, the Rode Mini Go mics are fantastic. They are not cheap though. These this Synco model right here, you got a receiver and 2 transmitters right here. I got them on my charging cord, but these are fantastic. They work really, really good, and they are like a third of the price. And since you're right next to yourself, or even if you're 100 feet away, they still work fantastic. I use these a lot actually in my business. I got multiple sets of them, but they work really fantastic if you are looking for a simple clip on anywhere you want, lavalier type mic. That's all there is to it. And now you can talk quiet and say, we got an 8-point coming. And it's all right there. So they're a beautiful system here, and it's not very expensive. I will have links to this stuff below, but these have been very impressive if you don't want to spend the money on the Rode Mini Go's or the Mini Go 2. But those are a good option. Now, lights. These here are pretty hard to beat. This is actually a 3-light set. I use this for a lot of the videos that I make in a house because I can put them on one mount and I can run all 3 lights, and I can crank them up and run them and use them for whatever I want to. But each one of these is an individual light, and they're literally like 18 bucks. I mean, they're cheap, they're simple, they're functional, they run on AA batteries, and I use rechargeable ones, but you can take one of these with you in the woods, and you can use this, and it's a great light for when you're doing your show and tell in the dark at night, and then it's a nice even light. You can even use these for blood trailing pretty good, and they run a long time on the batteries, but like I said, they are also stackable, which is a pretty sweet feature. for me and my business, you know, kind of thing. I use these things, I stick them in all kinds of weird places. I put them on these little Gorilla Pod type things, and I'll stick them in plants and hide them in places, but just very versatile and functional. I think I got 25 of these things. They work excellent. They're very affordable. Again, I will have links below for you for this kind of stuff. Now, as far as camera systems that I use, realistically, my cell phone is number one. Okay, 99% of everything you see in the field is filmed on my cell phone, including the video we're watching right now. I'm actually talking to you on my cell phone. That's how I'm recording all of this. So with your cell phone, you can record a lot of stuff, and you can take that, and actually, I don't even know where Tina's phone is. I will show you. Let me pause it. Tina's phone here, and she's got one of these really, really big ones. But point being is, with your phone, it's really nice because you can use it to film stuff. A lot of times we see animals, they're farther out, okay? We got two zones of filming animals. In close, which is in our kill zone, our shoot zone, and when they're in that when they're inside of 25 yards, that's where we have one zone of filming where we don't want to be moved and busted, and we got to be very cautious with what we do, which also brings into problems with camera arms, but we'll talk about that in a minute. But then there's the rest of the time when you see them coming at anywhere from 100 yards to 50 or to 25 yards in. That can be done on your cell phone even less obstructively than it can with a camera arm. Where with a camera arm here, you got your bow in your hand, you see them coming, you're constantly looking at the screen, you're moving it, you're spinning it, you're moving this thing with them, you're doing all this kind of stuff, then you're getting ready for when they come in, then you're trying to get ready to shoot, and he takes a few steps, you got to grab the camera and move the camera, and then he moves over here, and if he comes on this side of the tree to this side, you got to swing that camera around, you got to constantly mess with that camera on that arm through the process. Well, your cell phone does a pretty dang good job. Okay, they really do today, especially if you set it up right. Set it up for 30 frames per second, 1080p, you know, and you're going to be pretty good to go. Now, when you have your phone and you're using your phone, you can have your hands right here. You can basically just take your phone right out of your pocket, can sit right in here while you're up there. You're standing in your tree. And then you might hear a little noise in the background. Tina's doing some cooking here. So when you're doing that with your cell phone, you can have that phone right here in your pocket as you're in your stand and you're sitting there, and then you see deer out there. You put your binoculars on, you're like, oh, yep, there's deer coming. You can grab your phone, hit the button, and you can zoom, and you can watch it. These have amazing image stabilization in it. You can film it, film that deer, what it's doing. You can watch that whole thing, and it's none of this camera arm stuff, none of this moving around. I don't have to mount camera arms. I don't have to carry extra camera gear. I don't have to haul this stuff in there, worry about changing batteries, worry about turning stuff on. I don't have to mess with any of that kind of stuff. I can simply film them, and then when I go, oh, he's coming. Okay, he's going to end up being here, and he's 30 yards out. I just click, turn it off, drop it into my pocket right here, and then I go to my close range one. What's my close range one? It's a GoPro. Okay, I got GoPro, and I'll show you what we use this one for too. Is a different angle setup if you want. This is a DJI Mini or DJI Action. This is their version 1, their Osmo Action. Great camera. Here's a GoPro Hero 11. But see, I will put this on my head, and I have it on, and it sits right here, and I run it right off this eye because of how I shoot. But so I'll have this on, so this is already on. So I can literally go from filming them and watching that deer come in, and when he starts to get into that close zone, I just dump this into my pocket right here out of the way. I have my bow here, but now I just hit this one on. Now this is filming everything. So now everywhere I look and everything I do is being recorded with this camera. So I don't have to mess with camera arms or do anything. And when I take that shot, it is literally right over my bow. Done, and there it is. So that's the system I use. Now, if I want an extra angle in there, which I covered that front screen on this because I don't want them seeing that front screen. So I put stealth strips over that. But if we want to extend that out to a different angle, we can take this camera here, this DJI, which I always leave it on the strap. I carry this all the time as a backup rig. Okay, this one rides in my backpack. This plus extra batteries and stuff for it ride inside of its own case here. But I can take this and I can stick it right on here, which gives me, again, so that I don't have to mess with full-size cameras. Okay, I don't have to mess with that. I don't have to mess with any of these. I don't have to mess with any of these. Okay, this is the beauty of that, is I can take this setup, I can put this camera on it, stick that right on here, and leave this on this. So we got this set up, and then what I can do is I can take this here. All I did for this is I took a piece of paracord, okay, and it is looped into itself, where it's got a carabiner on it. Okay, you can see it's got a carabiner and then one of those adjustment squishy balls. Okay, so I can actually wrap this right around a tree and connect it to itself with that, so that we got this strapped on. Or you can use your tether strap, but then I can then connect this up above me. Right, okay, so if we're up there, it's on the tree up above me, and I can position that to get that third angle. I got total control of what this camera does, and I can clamp it just like that anywhere I want and have that getting that third eye view. Now this one I can actually reach up and turn on if I need to, but I can also control this one from the app on my phone. So as I'm recording them and they're out there and they're doing stuff, they're coming in, I'm going, okay, that's perfect, there we go, great. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to the other one. I can turn that off, hit the app, hit record, that one turns on. I put my phone away and I click the one on my head, and now I got my angle here and I have my angle on my head and I have everything I want. And the only thing I have to carry with me in the woods is this, and this. Okay, I mean, it just makes life very, very simple to do that. Now, some other options for you that are great too. Now, if you want to run your cell phone on a camera arm, you can do that. Okay, there are arms out there that are designed for cameras that are, or for your phones, that are very lightweight, very simple, and they work phenomenal if you want to put your phone on a camera arm. Me personally, I just film it in my hand because I get total control and stability. Everything is smooth. It's not down here. I don't have to mess with it, but I can film all that stuff out there. When I'm ready to put this away, okay, I grab my bow, turn my GoPro on, turn that one on if I want it, and I'm set up and I'm running. It's a very simple system when you're in a tree stand. Okay, and it's foolproof and it works really well. Now, when you are going to, if you are on the ground, there are some other things you can do too. Now, we always carry one of these with us. Okay, because this is what we do for our hero shots. These are how we set up and we make this for our pictures that we're going to take. They're simple, spring-loaded. That's actually, again, what I'm recording on right now is my phone on one of these. This setup is exactly what we're filming this on. But so we can take something like this and use it for our hero shots, plus this will also wrap around and grab onto tree branches, and then you can take this and spin it up so that it's like that. You can put this on a branch. You know, you can do anything you want to with them. So they're really functional, but when I buy mine, I buy the aftermarket clamps on them rather than, like, say, for example, this clamp right here. Okay, that red clamp is the same concept as what this clamp is. Okay, they both just grab your phone. Okay, spring loaded, grab your phone, but this one has the hot shoe adapter on it. I love that because now I can put my lights on it. Okay, so I can have the lights and I can have the phone. So it's a nice feature. I can run one of these lights, which is all I bring out there with me in the woods, but I can run one light like that, have that locked on, and now I get my recording and I have my light for low light conditions. So I really like this kind of a combo for your hero shots and the things like that you're going to do. These also come in very handy. These little clamps come in handy if you are going to be in a ground blind. If you are on the ground, or if you're going to be hunting on the ground, when you're hunting on the ground, you don't have that luxury of any kind of movement. So then it's going to be a turn on and go. In that kind of a situation, something like this, a very lightweight, I'll put links to this, but this is like a 1 1/4 pound light stand. It climbs real high, but very functional, very capable, simple. I've done and shown videos on these before, but it's just a perfect little light stand that you can set up and run as a tripod next to you, so you can have this sitting next to you in your blind, and then you can take this set and you can put your phone right on there, and then all you have to do literally is just touch the record button on your phone and you're good to go. So this is a great idea. These things are, like I said, very lightweight, very functional. If you want even more compact and simple than something like that, we also have this one here, the Oben. I love this Oben tripod. I take this in a lot of places with me, but this is a tripod that can be used as a tabletop tripod, just like this. You can take this, you can take the ball head, Okay, and you can run your ball head right on here, and now you have basically one of these size-wise. Put that clamp on there if you want to. You know, all this stuff is just real simple, interchangeable. Okay, so you can put this right on here this way, and you can run your phone next to you in there in the blind. Full adjustability, okay, as you see. But you can also extend this down. This one goes this high without the extension. Okay, so it's a functional, awesome tripod. Okay, I love, and this whole thing, even with the neck, weighs less than a pound. Okay, but that's a fantastic tripod to have with you with full capabilities that you can tuck right in next to you here, next to your stand, so that you're set up. And like I said, if you're looking here, you have this thing right here with you, ready to roll. So you can spin that, you can set it up, run it. These legs will extend out like most of the tripods will today. This thing can, I mean, it's a very versatile little tripod. I love, this is my all-time favorite tripod. But if that height doesn't give me enough, if that's not tall enough and I want to use it as a real tripod, I take the head off of this thing. Okay, so we are going to unscrew this, set that there for a minute. We put the mount, this extension mount that comes with it, right back on it, and now we can extend both of these out, and we have a very tall, okay, I mean a good height here to it, as you can see. But we got a lot of height in this, and you put your head right back on that extension, and you have your fully functional, full-size tripod right there. So it's a nice feature with what this tripod gives you. Sorry, it's half on the rug there, but nice tripod. And again, simple and easy, and this thing weighs nothing. Okay, there's no weight to it. It is very, very lightweight in size, and it folds down to a very compact size, just like this. Okay, and then this comes right off, and you set this with these, and you fold that right up, and you put a rubber band around it, and you are 100% good to go and throw that in your pack. I mean, it's a beautiful little system. So these are some great ways to do it. The headband, or the GoPro on a headband strap, absolutely my all-time favorite way. This is how every one of my Patreon hunting videos is filmed, is a combination of my cell phone and this camera. And like I said, you can incorporate that if you want that third angle in there too, or that other angle. I seldom ever do, but if you wanted to, you could definitely do it. So it gives you some ideas and some options, but kind of takes you out of the traditional norm of these kind of things right here, where you're set on very big, bulky, heavy, pain in the butt camera arms. I mean, you throw in the mix here of having to add this. Well, let's put it into perspective here. So if you are a traditional, somebody who is filming in a traditional sense, you are going to be looking at, let's move all this over, a minimum of, all right, so you are going to be looking at a light, you're going to be looking at a camera, you're going to be looking at a camera arm, you're going to be looking at extra bigger bulky batteries and that kind of stuff, but this is kind of your combo for filming. This right here is a lot of weight. Okay, there's a lot of weight into this combination. Then, but now if we go to the system that I'm using, and think about the setup time of all that kind of stuff. My system is basically these right here and this. I mean, that's it. And then I do bring, like I said, at every one of them, you know, I have, this is always in my pack anyway, because you need it. You got to have this. You'll even need this probably, even if you're carrying a camera arm, but because you want to be able to take your shots. But I mean, that's my whole world right there. And it's really never even used for filming. These are what I film all my hunts on, right there. Two simple things. If I want a third angle, I kick in that one right there. So sweet, simple, and easy. No reason to get carried away with this kind of stuff. Like I said, there's nothing wrong if you want to. But if you are like me and you get fed up with dealing with the filming aspect of this and how complicated it can be, and then trying to mess with your camera gear while you're hunting, trying to keep things in frame, but to also hold your bow and get ready for the shot, and he's right there, and you got to try and move all this stuff, there is a simple way of having everything that you see filmed right here over your head, and the further out stuff this works like a champ. So little insight for you, some food for thought, some things to kick around in your head. If you have setting questions, I'm not going to bore you with them. Ask me in the comments if you're wondering on what to set them up at. That kind of stuff. Or maybe I'll tell you some of them right now, but if you're not interested in that, you can cut it right here. But for those of you that are interested in settings on there, I run my phones at 1080 HD, so I'm running 1080, but I also set them at 30 frames per second. I run all my other cameras at 30 frames per second as well too. Yes, you can do 60, you can do 120, but remember, every time you double the frame rate, you lose half the light capability. Keep that in mind. So 30 frames per second is going to be your best bet. I shoot my GoPros, I shoot these on 4K. The reason I shoot them on 4K at 4:3 mode, and the reason I do that is so that I can choose in post-editing, I can choose what part, but rather than it be that 1080p frame and maybe I happen to cut it out, my frame is now square, and I can pick any section of that I want for 1080. And because I'm shooting in 4K and I'm importing it into a 1080 file, I got 4 times the zoom capability. So even though it's a GoPro and it's set up like it is, and some of them are pretty wide, that kind of thing, I'm actually going to zoom this in 4 times what I see here, and it's still going to be high def 1080p like we're doing with all the other resolutions. So for me, there's a lot of simplicity to that. By shooting in the 4:3 square mode, I can pick any part of the frame I want to use, and I can, which you'll see in my Patreon stuff, you'll see that I might have him in frame here, but then 10 seconds later he's in frame down here. I will simply cut and remove or realign that section so that it all runs streamlined. Gives me that option. The 4K gives me 4 times the zoom power to do it. But if you are going to shoot in 4K, you better have the software and computing power to handle being able, and the software to be able to work 4K video. If you don't have that, it's not going to work very well for you. But 1080 at 30 frames per second is definitely your friend. Highest ISO you can get away with, because that's going to help you in low light capabilities. With the action cams, the Osmos have a better low light performance than GoPro does. GoPro sucks in low light. Okay, GoPro, that's one of their downfalls, but I love the cameras. The new Insta360, whatever they got a brand new one. It just came out very similar to this with a flip out screen on the back. I don't remember what it's called. I'll show you a picture of it in here. That one has got very good, on par with this low light capabilities as well too, and those are definitely worth looking into. Some things to consider there for you. Maybe, like I said, GoPro is not the top dog they think they once were, although I love them and I will still continue to use them. But I honestly really want to check out that Insta360 one because of that low light capabilities. This will give me 10 more minutes of low light capability shooting than what this will. But I like the function of the GoPro better than this. But low light, this does win. So your phone will actually beat these in low light as well too. So, but a phone is really all you need. So a phone and a GoPro. So there you go. Hopefully this helps you out, gives you some insight, some pointers. Thanks for watching.